out. Just like when you're throwing an uppercut, your fist doesn't go down to come up. When you're throwing a hook, your fist doesn't go out to come across. You stay connected to your power source. You turn, shift the weight, and let the fist fly up. So an uppercut is here, not here. A hook is here, not here. Very important. Don't go any direction, but straight to the target.
In a perfect world, that all sounds well and good. Unfortunately, I think there's a couple key points that we're overlooking when we're teaching these basics. Number one, when I'm fighting somebody, let's say I have these gloves, usually I'm after somebody who's not that much taller than me. Maybe they're an inch, maybe 2 inches taller than me. So our guards are relatively the same height. In order for me to get through that guard, take my elbow to my hands, because most people's guards cover the top of their head to the bottom of their elbow. And if you were taught properly, you were taught not to raise, you were taught to crunch. You were taught to bring your head to your guard, not your guard to your head. With that being said, when I'm here, if I just bring my hand up like this, like he did the motion, where I turn my body, I'm running smack dab into a wall. I'm not hitting anything of substance. Sometimes it's okay to hit the guard, but when you do, you want to make sure that it's a statement. You don't just want to when you hit the guard. In order to get around that guard and or make a statement, in my personal boxing and fighting experience, I have had to drop my hand. I've had to, in order to get power, yes, I turn my body, but in order to get that drive through or drive up power to get either underneath the guard or through the guard, I've had to drop my hand to go through or under. Sometimes you're not even going to the chin. Sometimes you're going to the body, and you can't just go down like this and get to the guard because they're gonna see you. They're gonna see you drop, and they're gonna drop. So sometimes you have to disguise your body hit movement by stepping off and then turning, and then that guard drops away from your body. That's why I teach raising your shoulder to your ear when you do this, because it gives you an extra layer of protection, as well as when you rotate your body, you get off the center line. So anything that they're throwing at you is gonna kind of either hit your shoulder, your arm, or just whiff right past you. Number two, when you're throwing your hook, it's relatively the same thing. If you were taught right, you were taught to bring your head to your guard, not bring your guard to your head. So when you're throwing those hooks, when they're teaching these very textbook hooks, they keep it tight, turn. By the time I'm turned, my punch is over here. I'm not really getting any drive-through power, and most times, in my personal experience, I end up hurting my knuckle. Like I just kind of like, it's like hitting a pillow. So you have to kind of open up in order to, number one, have any type of drive power, or number two, be able to get around that person's guard. Because if you were taught to throw your hook correctly, you're taught to aim for the ear, not the jaw. So when I throw this hook, if their guard is here, they're gonna hit my guard if I just do this. If I just drive like this, it's gonna hit nothing but their gloves. So any counter is again gonna hit the gloves. I'm trying to get around the gloves. So yes, you do turn your body, but you have to open up to get around those gloves. There is an element of danger, but there's always a counter to the counter. And we keep ourselves as safe as possible. When I teach to throw that hook, I teach step off, and you raise that shoulder high, whether I'm leaning back or leaning in. My shoulder is raised, my chin is tucked to my collarbone, so that anything that comes by, it hits hard on that shield, boom. And I keep my eye on my target as much as possible. There's just certain things that don't work in a real fight that we're taught fundamentally, so I try to eliminate that fact. One more thing that I teach people, and this works with the jab. When you throw your jab, a lot of people teach you to go straight to the target, go straight to the target. That's all well and good. I'm gonna get a little nerdy for a second, so bear with me. When you throw a straight punch, and saying you're stepping into it, there's energy transfer that has to happen. I can't just throw this punch and then nothing happens. As you can see, I'm kind of leaning in, kind of leaning forward. The energy has to go somewhere. So let's say I'm trying to throw another punch right after. I go here and then here. There's no guarantee that I'm going to be able to control every aspect of that energy transfer forward. So a lot of times when you're throwing that punch straight down the pipe, what I'll teach people is to fake with their body first. fake with your body first and then step into that jab. Two key elements are happening. Number one, I'm compensating for that energy transfer. And number two, I'm getting them to bite initially. Most fighters are trained really, really well to react to the very first thing they see and or something coming at them. So if the first thing that comes at you is a jab with no telegraph, and you're training your entire life to recognize body movement, that's gonna be out the way. So a lot of times what happens when I throw my jab, when I do that, boom, I'll be here, it'll parry, and now I'm open, I'm fucked. So what I'll do instead is I'll kind of step like I'll throw something, and then after they've initially bit on that first one, that's when you throw that actual jab. So it's boom instead of boom. This has been with Coach Anthony, More Than Human Fitness. These are just a couple of things that I practice in my fighting that have worked for me in actual fighting. Again, I believe fundamentals are good, but as you get better and better and you've actually sparred, the way you implement things has to change, because you start to see that certain things are reality-based and certain things are just, okay, fundamentals. We gotta learn what it is. Then you gotta learn how to actually adapt it. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel. We're bringing you more information, more good stuff from me. Love y'all. I have no outro for this. This was just something spontaneous. See y'all next time.
This is where you gotta push past your limits. If you don't, then your path ends here.